Good evening. This is All India Radio, Kohima. I'm Jonas Yantan with Evening News. The headlines. Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu says North-Eastern region is now decisively breaking from its troubled past. Centre exploring new technologies and innovations to solve challenges of providing telecommunication in the Northeast region. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says keeping India's maritime zones safe ensures security needs and economic development. And Prasar Bharati says broadcasting reforms at DD and AIR are paving way for emerging technologies and new content opportunities. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is going on, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower the guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 6 feet for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And state helpline number 1800-345-0019. And now the news. Vice President and Rajya Sabha Chairman M Venkaiah Naidu today asserted that the northeastern region is now decisively breaking from its troubled past and is witnessing a new era of resurgence. He said the region is showing substantial improvement in economic and human development and this is expansion of infrastructure development and steep decline in insurgency over the last 7 years. The Vice President was addressing a special session of the Arunachal Pradesh Legislative Assembly today. Naidu said much-needed peace in the region returned due to the efforts of the central government. He informed that compared to 2013, insurgency-related incidents in the region declined by 70%, civilian deaths by 80%, and casualties of security forces by 78% in 2019. Naidu said the 8 legislatures of the region have only 20 women MLAs, accounting for only 4% of the total 498 MLAs. Stating that even in Parliament, women constitute 11% of the legislatures, Naidu called for involving more women members in the lawmaking in the region. He also emphasized the need for the state governments to transfer 29 subjects and devolve 3 Fs, functions, funds and functionaries, to the local bodies as per the provisions of the Constitution. Union Minister of State for Communication Devussin Chauhan today held a meeting with the state officials, Department of Telecommunication and Post at Rhododendron Hall, Kohima. Addressing the gathering, the Union Minister said there are challenges in providing telecommunication services in the northeastern states, but government is exploring new technologies and innovations to solve the issues. He said there is no dearth of funds for improvement of telecom sector and further assured that there will be increased coverage of telecommunication network connectivity as well as increased funds for further improvement. He said Nagaland is a shining example in terms of tele density, which is highest among the northeastern states, he added. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today said that it is not possible to create a comprehensive internal and external security framework without maritime security. Speaking at the investiture ceremony of Indian Coast Guard in New Delhi, Singh said keeping India's maritime zones safe, secure and pollution-free ensures the security needs and also economic development. He said started with 4 to 6 boats, Indian Coast Guard now has more than 150 ships and 66 aircrafts and it holds an important place in the world's best maritime forces. On the occasion, Singh presented the Gallantry and Meritorious Service Medals to Indian Coast Guard personnel. Prasar Bharati has said that the broadcasting reforms at Doordarshan and All India Radio are paving way for maritime shift to emerging technologies and new content opportunities. Taking note of the misinformation being published in certain media outlets, Prasar Bharati has clarified that broadcast reform steps to phase out obsolete analog terrestrial TV transmitters was being misrepresented. Recently, such false reports about DDK Silchar and DDK Kalaburaki have been noticed. Prasar Bharati has made it clear that these DD centers will continue to generate program content for broadcasting on the satellite channels of Doordarshan, apart from maintaining their presence on digital media through YouTube and on social media. Analog terrestrial TV is an obsolete technology, and phasing out of the same is in both public and national interest. It said, with the exception of around 50 analog terrestrial TV transmitters in strategic locations, Prasar Bharati will be phasing out the rest of the obsolete analog transmitters by 31st of March next year. This news comes to you from All India Radio, Kohima. You can also listen to this news bulletin on a YouTube channel, AIR News Kohima. Nagaland today reported 31 fresh COVID-19 positive cases, taking the tally to 31,441. Dimapur reported 25 of the fresh cases, Kohima and Pek 2 each, and Kifre and Mogokchung 1 each. Total recovery from the infection increased to 29,480, with 35 recoveries reported today. 2 COVID-19 patients also died in the past 24 hours, taking the tally to 671. India and Denmark today inked 4 agreements and decided to expand cooperation. Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Danish counterpart, Mette Frederiksen, held bilateral talks in New Delhi. In his statement after the talks, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India and Denmark have continued its cooperation even during the pandemic. He said both the countries will work on several technologies in the sectors of food safety, cold chain, food processing, fertilizers, fisheries, aquaculture, and others. Modi said both the countries have started a new partnership in the health sector. He said the 2 countries also decided to cooperate on agro-tech to increase agriculture productivity and improve farmers' income. Modi said India and Denmark will also coordinate in smart water resource management and efficient supply chain sectors. The visiting Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said India and Denmark are 2 democratic nations and both believe in an international system based on rules. She said a cooperation between India and Denmark is a great example of how green growth and green transition can go hand in hand. Security forces in a joint operation with police apprehended 2 persons and recovered 1 motorbike, a .38 pistol with magazines and 3 live rounds in general area of Kifre town. PRO Defense in a release said, based on specific input, a joint operation was launched and the duo were arrested on Thursday. The apprehended individuals, along with recovered items, have been handed over to Kifre Police Station for further investigation. Kohima Forest Division organized an exposure trip under the initiative My CCA, My Bride for Zatima, Joint Forest Management Committee, JFMC, to Kohima village yesterday. During the trip, JFMC members were introduced to how community conservation areas have a huge impact on the mutual coexistence of human and wildlife. Kohima District Forest Officer Rajkumar M said, Nagaland has one of the highest number of community conservation areas in the country. He said that the efforts taken by communities for conservation not just benefit a village or district, but the entire world, since biodiversity is interlinked. The DFO also briefed about Project Future, where innovative awareness projects are implemented by Kohima District Division. Chocho Imlang Students' Union organized the 3rd edition of the Noble Deeds Day today to mark the birthday of Natwa Thakur, founder of Nagaland Kanti Ashram. Celebrating the day, a number of public service and charitable works was carried out by the citizens and organizations within Chocho Imlang village and outside. Highlights of the day included poetry recitation, special songs, exhortations, and screening of a documentary on the life and work of Natwa Thakur. And now, 20 News, here are the main points again. Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu says North-Eastern region is now decisively breaking from its troubled past. center exploring new technologies and innovations to solve challenges of providing telecommunication in the northeast region. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says keeping India's maritime zones safe ensures security needs and economic development. And Prasar Bharati says broadcasting reforms at DT and AIR are paving way for emerging technologies and new content opportunities. That is all we have in this evening news bulletin. Good night.